Okay, so we're going to do another little how quickly can we do code demo of the Model Unity framework. I am working on getting a copy of Captivate so I can stop doing these so fast and do some proper video-based tutorials. About 10 minutes is all I can fit and distribute via YouTube, so we're going to be doing these very quickly again. What we're going to be doing today is creating a CD collection application, where a CD can have one rating, like good, bad, or why did I buy this to begin with. And it can also be related to many artists, and an artist can be related to many different CDs. So we're going to be looking more at how we can handle linking relationships, and how scaffolding deals with that as well. To get started with our application, we need to create a database first off, so let's create some rules. We'll create one called CD, with a primary ID, primary key CD ID. Let's have title, and then rating ID to relate it over to our rating. It should be a type integer. And now for our next one, let's go ahead and actually that's all we need. Apply changes, execute, and that's our first table. Now for our second table, let's create a table of ratings. Rating ID, and name. That's all we need there. So we have CD and rating. Go ahead and create artist, which is probably going to look a lot like CD, but maybe a little simpler. Artist ID, another primary key, and then name as well. Now we have a many-to-many relationship between artist and CD, so we need to create a table to link the two. And I'll call that a CD. Artist CD ID, and then artist ID, and last CD ID. Int, and keep everything signed. Apply the changes and execute. Now let's go ahead and add this by hand a few things to the rating table. Edit. Great. Good. Okay. Bad. What was I thinking? Okay, so we have some ratings in the table now. We'll apply these changes. And go ahead and close our table editor. So now we've built our tables and relationships between those tables. Let's go over into Eclipse now. And I have this ant file that I can use to really quickly generate new model glue applications. You can do it without this, but this makes it really fast, and it relies on some naming conventions. So we run it, and we see this project up here, CD collection, is going to be filled with a lot more files in about 3 more seconds. Refresh this, and now we have our working application with directories like model, view, and controller. Let's go ahead into our configuration files and open up reactor.xml, which is what we can use to establish relationships between the different objects in our application. The first object is CD. We have an object whose name is CD. This object is going to has one object whose name is rating. And it's going to relate from rating ID to rating ID. Now it's going to have another relationship, a has many relationship, over to artist. But it's not going to relate direct, it's going to use another object as a link between the two. And the name of that linking object is artist CD, that table we define. Now I'm going to copy and paste this just to jumpstart developing other things. We're going to have another object whose name is artist. And it's going to have a many relationship over to CD. And the same link. Now let's create this actual linking object. It doesn't look like it looks like every other object. Artist CD. We tell it about the relationship and it works. It has one. The name of this has one is C. And it relates from CD ID to CD ID. It's a very similar relationship over to artist. So I'll use find replace, try not making any typos. Okay, so I have 3 objects to find here. I don't really need to find rating. We're not going to scaffold it and work with it. And so CD has one rating that has many artists. An artist has many CDs. And an artist CD is a link, having one CD and having artist. So let's go over to modelglue.xml now and open it up and create some event handlers to do UI for this. We create a scaffold. We're an object whose name is CD. Inside this scaffold, I'm going to add a result tag stating to run the site-wide template once you're done any of these scaffolds. Get a nice looking, consistent look and feel to everything. Now let's add a second scaffold for artist. And I'm now going to go into that site templates view file, dsptemplate.cfm. I'm going to simply add navigate at the top with the div tag. So let's navigate to artists and CDs. Okay, ahref equals index.cfm, event equals cd.list, CDs. I'll do the same for artist. Okay, now before I do this, I want to replace some of the labeling this is going to generate. Those things like cd.label or artist.title throughout the scaffolds that are generated as is. If we go into our model directory and down to the data subdirectory of that, see there's a full dictionary. This is what React generates. Actually, we won't have it because we haven't scaffolded, and you actually load application once to have all of that take place. So we can reload. I've got a version that's actually cached in memory, so I'm going to tell it to reload the whole application. It's going to introspect the database. Scaffold must have object attribute. Looks like I mistyped things in my own XML schema. Okay, it's not scaffold name, it's called object. It was named for about 2 months, so I still mistyped it instantly. Now I hit reload, and it's generating all those UI files and all of the React-based model files, like these things called dictionaries that define the lexicon for each object we're talking about. If we go back, we may see let me go refresh the data directory now. This folder underneath called dictionary, and we'll see that we have artist dictionary and CD dictionary. Let me open them both up with MelBuddy. And into CD, I'm going to give a few more tags in here. I'll apply a label root level, CD. Change title to CD title, and you can see we can also refine the validation message while we're in here. Put a better looking label on artist. Then instead of name, use artist name. That'll look a lot better as on header. And now if I go over to application and click on like CDs, it's going to sit and notice all of this and rescaffold everything. And after it compiles, it'll bring up a list of CDs. The same goes for artists. Now it's going out and introspecting the artist table and generating this display for a list of artists. You can see that the column headers I just defined, like CD title, are applied quite nicely throughout the scaffold. Let me add a new artist. We're running in full development mode, so it's watching the database on each request right now. It's also writing all the code for us behind the scenes to add a new artist, and compiling down to Java classes. Artist name, Van Halen. Probably not everybody's favorite artist, but one that everybody knows. Then we sit as it compiles, and eventually we go back to the list of artists. And we see that Van Halen now shows up. Van Halen now shows up. My machine's really crawling right now while it's recording the screen. Sorry about that. I'm on a laptop, not my normal development workstation. Going over to the list of CDs. Let's do something fun. Let's go over to Kring.xml, and I'm going to move this into full action mode so we can see that Unity actually is quite fast when it's running. Reload, stop reloading the whole thing, and tell Reactor down here to go from development mode to production. Hope to generate all the code I need at this point. Let me add a new CD, and this is the first time some of this is run, so it still needs to write the code and compile, and Reactor is smart enough to figure that out. The next time it runs, it's going to be quite fast. So CD title, Van Halen. I'm sorry, not Van Halen, 1984, one of the David Loft ones. We'll say that it was good. Artist name, Van Halen. Hit save. It's going to go ahead and save this one for us. And you can see that it's gone ahead and done all of that relating and many-to-many stuff for us, and produced the right type form controls. Now let me add a new CD here, which is one of Van Halen's Humans Being. And go ahead and say that it was Van Halen, and it was, what was I thinking? I just passed Sammy Hagar, I think, and nobody really knows what they were thinking, in fact. Okay, so let's go back over to artists, and I'm going to add a new artist now. We see things are speeding quite dramatically. David Lee Roth did have something to do with 1984, didn't have anything to do with Humans Being, so let's go ahead and state that. If I go back to CDs now, and look at 1984, and a view-only mode, we'll see that David Lee Roth and Van Halen will both be listed underneath there. So it was good and had both of those artists. But what's even better than good is that we have scaffolds that know about one-to-many and many-to-many relationships defined in Reactor, and they can just work for us and give us the right type of form controls. Hope this is exciting. A little bit more about Molecule Unity, and I look forward to seeing anybody who's attending the CF United conference this. Feel free to stop me at any time and I'll show you a little bit about Unity, and I'll be happy to. Have a good one.